It's one of these really cool examples of how mathematical physics research for something totally different can be applied to biology. And we're just discovering how life is so clever. Physical networks are embedded in 3D space. I'm talking about the brain, which has neurons connecting from one to another. If you look at vasculature, that's blood vessels that are physically connecting. The way that these biological networks figure out where to go and what connections to make is by minimizing wire volume, which basically turns into what's the minimum distance between 2 points. So it was an old paradigm, and in graph theory, this is effectively what's called the Steiner tree problem, okay? If you've got a graph of points in Euclidean space, these are the blue points in this photo, then if I want to connect them with optimized graph that minimizes the distance between all these edges, then what I can do is introduce little points called Steiner points in between the vertices that I want to attach, okay? And there's a certain rule. First is that all branching points have only 3 nodes. They're called bifurcations, meaning one path is going to lead out to 2. There's never one path leading out to 3. The second point is all of these intersections happen at 120 degrees. Okay.
Oh.
And that kind of makes sense because if you've got 3 paths coming out, a circle is 360 degrees.
Gotcha.
360 divided by 3 is 120, right?
Gotcha.
So that it all like kind of makes sense.
Okay.
The problem is if you look at empirical data from biology, this is not true. Okay.
Okay.
In recent times, we've done incredible work mapping out the 3D morphology of biological networks. This right here is a neuron from the Human Connectome project. They've mapped out a human neuron, and what you can see is violations of that Steiner tree.
Yes.
You've got trifurcation, so a single path leading out to 3, and you've also got these orthogonal connections where the angle is not 120 but 90 degrees.
So it is structurally, it appears to be suboptimal.
Yeah.
From an efficiency perspective.
Yeah. Well, what if I want to minimize surface area instead? Now, let's think about it. Why would I want to minimize surface area rather than length? Well, the reason is surface area is the actual thing that requires material. You know, I need a cell membrane.
Yes.
It doesn't really matter what the length is,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because if I can minimize surface area but have a longer length, maybe that's fine because I'm using less material. Okay? And that is the insight of this new paper. Maybe if we minimize surface area, then we can replicate biological networks. And the key insight is string theorists have been worried about this problem for like 30 years. And if we can just borrow all their mathematics, then all of a sudden we've got a heuristic, a mathematical heuristic that solves for why biology is doing this.